Welcome to a deep dive into the fascinating world of AI, specifically how we humans try to make sense of it all.
Hmm.
You've shared some really intriguing research with us on something called mental models, and I gotta say, it's
Yeah.
way more than just a tech buzzword.
Absolutely. We often find ourselves caught up in what AI can do,
Right.
but what's really interesting about this research is that it puts you, the user, front and center. It's about how your understanding of AI actually shapes your whole experience.
Okay, so it's less about the AI's brain and more about our own, like, brain about AI.
Exactly. Think of it this way.
Yeah.
You see a hammer,
Yeah.
you instantly know what to do with it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you use it to hammer a nail. That intuitive understanding, that's a mental model in action.
Yeah.
But AI, not so simple.
Right. It's not a tool with one clear purpose. It's more like, a self-learning navigation app, maybe? It's constantly adapting its route based on
Yeah.
traffic, your feedback,
Right.
even the weather.
That's a great analogy. That's a really great analogy. And that's where the research gets really insightful because it highlights that if our mental model, that initial understanding of how it works, is off, our entire experience with that AI suffers.
And I imagine those misconceptions are really tough to shake because AI is always evolving. I mean, my navigation app 5 years ago couldn't predict traffic jams with the accuracy that it can today.
Precisely. And unlike that hammer in your toolbox,
Mhm.
AI is constantly learning from this massive amount of data.
Right.
And so it's changing. It's a moving target. And that's where it gets a little tricky for us as users because it's harder to grasp something that is constantly evolving.
Right. And it makes it that much more important when companies are developing AI products that
Yeah.
they're really thoughtful about how they onboard users onto that, because if they just start throwing around AI magic and all these buzzwords without actually explaining how it works,
Yeah.
without managing expectations, that's a recipe for disaster, right?
Absolutely. And you think about it, vague marketing claims might create some initial excitement, but ultimately, I think they lead to distrust and frustration when the AI ultimately falls short of those unrealistic promises.
Totally. Yeah, it's like being promised a self-driving car that can navigate anything, and then you get in and it can barely handle a four-way stop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why the research really stresses the importance of onboarding users in stages
Okay.
and revealing the AI's capabilities gradually over time.
So kind of like learning a new skill. You wouldn't expect to sit down at a piano on day one and play like a complex concerto. You'd start with like, chopsticks.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
You gotta learn the basics.
And with each stage of interaction, with each success, the user's mental model becomes more refined and more aligned with the AI's actual capabilities.
So it's this fascinating dance between revealing and learning at the same time. But how do companies actually design these AI experiences to encourage this kind of gradual understanding? I mean, are there any specific techniques that they use?
Well, the research dives into some really fascinating aspects of this,
Yeah.
particularly this idea of co-learning.
Right.
It's like we're not just passively using AI anymore.
Right.
We're actually shaping it as we go.
It's a very dynamic relationship.
And the research really emphasizes how crucial clear feedback mechanisms are within the AI itself.
Okay.
It can't just be a one-way street.
Okay, so it's not enough for me to just hit like thumbs up on a song.
Right.
The AI needs more than that to really learn my taste.
Well, even choosing a song is a form of feedback.
Okay.
The AI is registering those choices,
Okay.
those patterns in your behavior.
Right.
But explicit feedback, like actually telling the AI why you didn't like a particular recommendation,
Uh-huh.
that adds a whole new layer of learning.
Okay, so I'm helping it to understand not just what I like, but why I like it.
Exactly.
And over time, all those micro interactions really add up.
Exactly. It's through this constant exchange, this co-learning process, that the AI starts to anticipate your needs,
Okay.
sometimes even before you articulate them.
So co-learning is like we're having a conversation with the AI.
Yeah.
But instead of words, it's all data and algorithms.
Precisely. And just like in any good conversation,
Yeah.
honesty is essential.
Right.
And when the AI stumbles, and it inevitably will,
Right.
it needs a way to learn from those mistakes.
Okay.
And that's where this concept of failing gracefully comes in.
This is really fascinating to me. So instead of a total system crash,
Right.
it's more about giving the AI a chance to course correct.
Imagine you're using an AI-powered scheduling assistant, and you tell it, schedule a meeting with person's name for next Tuesday.
Okay.
Now, what if the AI misinterprets next Tuesday because of how you phrased it?
Right.
Failing gracefully means it doesn't just throw up an error message.
One.
Instead, it might offer some alternative dates
Here.
or ask for clarification. Did you mean Tuesday the 16th or the 23rd?
I see.
So each interaction,
Yeah.
even a mistake,
Yeah.
becomes a learning opportunity.
And that's how the user's mental model evolves as well.
Exactly.
They start to see the AI not as this perfect system,
Right.
but as a technology that learns and improves alongside them.
Exactly.
But then there's this other aspect that the research gets into,
Yeah.
this idea of anthropomorphism,
Mm-hmm.
where we start treating AI like it's a person.
Yes.
We give it a name.
Yeah.
We get emotionally attached to it. I mean,
Yeah.
remember Clippy from Microsoft Word?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a prime example.
Clippy, the ultimate example of anthropomorphism in early AI.
Right.
But you've hit on a crucial point. While giving AI those human-like qualities can make it feel more approachable, the research cautions against taking it too far.
It's almost like we can't help it.
Right.
We're hardwired to seek out those human connections, even if it's with a chat bot.
And that's where it gets a little tricky.
Yeah.
Because if we start attributing human-like understanding and emotions to these systems,
Right.
we're bound to be disappointed.
Because even though they're getting more sophisticated every day,
Sure.
they're still nowhere near actual human intelligence.
Exactly. And that's why this research is so important.
Yeah.
It highlights the potential downsides of anthropomorphism.
Okay.
Because imagine, you become overly reliant on an AI assistant and you're trusting it with really sensitive information.
Right, like you would a friend.
Yeah, like you would a close friend. And that's where the lines can get blurred.
Yeah.
And that's where the potential for harm can arise.
Yeah. It's a good reminder to stay informed and keep a healthy dose of critical thinking when you're interacting with these systems.
Absolutely. We can embrace the convenience. We can even embrace the delight of interacting with AI.
Right.
But we have to do it with this clear understanding of its limitations.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive on mental models, are there any final takeaways our listeners should keep in mind as they're navigating this increasingly AI-driven world?
I think first and foremost, remember that your understanding of AI really matters.
Okay.
It directly shapes your experience.
Right.
So pay attention to those mental models.
Yeah.
Are you approaching AI with realistic expectations, or are you expecting it to be something that it's not?
It's almost like a self-awareness check. Before you even start using the AI.
Yeah, knowing how you tend to think about technology is the first step.
And then the second step being don't be afraid to experiment.
Exactly.
Try it out, but keep that critical eye.
Provide feedback,
Yeah.
even when the AI gets it wrong, because remember, it's a two-way street.
Right.
You're helping it learn and evolve.
So be an active participant, not just a passive consumer.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
By understanding how these mental models work and by engaging thoughtfully with these technologies, we can create a future where AI really does complement and enhance our lives.
It's this fascinating dance between what we expect and what the AI can actually do,
Right.
and this constant co-evolution.
Yes.
That's something I think to keep in mind as we move forward.
Absolutely. It's a journey we're all on together.
And understanding that interplay between human perception and artificial intelligence is crucial.
Such a good point to end on. And for you listening, remember, as AI evolves,
Yeah.
so too must our understanding of it.
That's right.
Until next time, keep diving deeper.